Hi folks, how you doing? This is Iqbal with NVIDIA Analysis and Assessment. On Tuesday, NVIDIA had another good day. It did not go too high, but at least it was able to close positive on Tuesday. In this video, let's take a look at the latest news regarding NVIDIA, and also let's talk about the technical charts and other data to predict Nvidia price movement for rest of the week. Now, let's get started. Starting with the daily summary, Nvidia opened at 140. It made a high of 141.90. It made a low 138.65 and it closed at 140.22, and that is 0.39% up. If you take a look overall movement on Tuesday, you see that after the opening, Nvidia had a strong momentum. So it almost touched 142 sometime on Tuesday morning, but then it got some decline. But overall, it closed positive, and that's a good sign. Last 5 days, Nvidia is still positive 4.84%, and year to date is still above 191%. And that tells that, some correction might happen before the next earnings, but in my opinion, overall, Nvidia has more room to go further up before the next earnings. The reason I'm saying this because after touching the all-time high of 152, Nvidia already made some correction, probably about 10 to 12%. Now let's take a look forward P for Nvidia. So the forward P for Nvidia at this point is at 40.53, higher than the last week closing, and it should continue to go up before the next earnings. At this point, Nvidia entered in the safe region because its forward P is above 40. So between 40 to 50 is a safe region for Nvidia, and also Nvidia has more potential to go further up because it should touch 50 forward P before the next earnings. Palantir 242.29, higher than the last week closing, continues to go up. SMCI 10.80. SMCI also had a good time on Tuesday. And AMD forward P at this point is at 28.51, higher than the last week closing. And also, AMD has more potential to go further up before the next earnings because below 30 forward P for AMD is also not stable. So I'm guessing AMD forward PE should go above 30 before the next earnings. Even it should touch forward PE of 40 before the next earnings. That's what I think. Now let's take a look quarterly percentage change analysis for Nvidia. Based on the cumulative percentage change, Nvidia is down about 3.3% from the previous earnings. And if you take a look last quarter, Nvidia was down about 12% from one quarter prior earnings report. And in this quarter, Nvidia already was down about 11.9%, almost 12%. So that's why I think that Nvidia already touched its minimum point for this quarter. So more chances for Nvidia to go further up before the next earnings. The last quarter, the max point was 25%. So that's why I also think that Nvidia should be able to break all-time high in next few weeks. Now let's take a look technical charts for Nvidia. You see 90-day hourly interval chart on your screen and also the MACD chart. So as I mentioned in my previous video that the overall momentum was positive on Nvidia and there was some chance for a little correction on Tuesday, but overall I was positive that MACD chart should not go below zero. So at this point, it looks like that the positive momentum is still there with Nvidia, and also I'm expecting on Thursday Not a major jump on Nvidia, and probably it should move some sideways movement. And also, overall, by the end of this week, Nvidia should close as a positive green candlestick chart by the end of Friday. Now, let's take a look Bollinger Bands for Nvidia. And based on the Bollinger Band, you see that the upper band and the lower. And based on the Bollinger Bands, you see that the gap between upper band and the lower band is not expanding any further. So this means that the strong positive momentum that we saw a few days ago is no more at this point with Nvidia, but it can come back anytime. At this point, I see not a significant price movement on Nvidia at this point gonna happen on Thursday and Friday. Now let's take a look Fibonacci levels for Nvidia. You see Fibonacci levels on your screen, and based on the Fibonacci levels, things have not much changed for Nvidia. So my previous assessment regarding Nvidia based on Fibonacci levels is still the same. The next level of support is 126.86. I'm not expecting Nvidia to go to that level in this week. The next level of resistance is 140.61. And if I move further, you see that Nvidia already trading around 140. It was able to go above 140 sometime on Tuesday, but it could not sustain, so it had to come down. So that's why I mentioned in my previous video that 140.6 is a strong resistance level. And after that is 152.89. Now let's take a look some news regarding Nvidia. You see some news regarding Nvidia on your screen. So let's take a look one by one if there is any significant news regarding Nvidia. Starting from the top, I do not find any at this point. This one that says NVIDIA CES 2025 keynote, how to watch Jensen Huang unveil the RTX 5000 series GPUs. That's good for NVIDIA, but nothing impactful. Let's go down further. And this one looks interesting, and that says NVIDIA unusual options activity for December 24. Let's take a look. That says deep pocketed investors have adopted a bearish approach towards Nvidia and something market players should not ignore. Okay, that's a good thing. So that's interesting. And it further says that the identity of these investors remain unknown, but such a substantial move in Nvidia usually suggests something big is about to happen. Okay, and in terms of the percentage wise, it says 43% investors were bullish and 46 were bearish. I think we should not read too much into it. I'm guessing it's just a short term impact and not going to impact the overall picture for Nvidia, and that's a upward movement. So let's scroll down further. If you have any other thing for Nvidia that we should be talking, nothing I see here. Pretty generic news. And now this one that says NVIDIA's advanced AI tech powers Olympian Motors' new electric vehicle platform. So that's a good thing. If we scroll down further, so that says NVIDIA stock rises while the chipmaker is getting a festive boost. Barons.com. So nothing big regarding NVIDIA on this one. Okay, so I think it's enough for Tuesday. So only one news that I discussed with you was significant for Tuesday, but nothing more. Now let's take a look some stock on my watch list regarding AI or the tech sector. You see the stocks on my watch list. Most of the stocks were positive on Tuesday, with the exception of SoundHound, and that is 0.93%. And also, luckily, Palantir is also up 2.09% after Nasdaq 100 inclusion. Tesla also had a good time together with Avago. And in terms of the economic indicator, as I mentioned in my previous video, nothing big is coming up for this week. So pretty quiet week regarding the economic indicators as well. So that's all about my analysis and assessment regarding NVIDIA for next few days. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.